Let's learn about adjacent angles. Now some types of angles. We are in the chapter lines and angles. So there, first thing we are going to learn is adjacent angles. So adjacent angles means such angles which are formed at a common point, and both angles have a common arm. Means two angles which are formed. Take two angles like this. One, I'm taking like this. You have a look at this. This is angle AOB, first one, angle BOC, second one. So have a look at these two angles. Both angles are formed at point O. That means they have common vertex O. And both angles are divided by this line, this OB. That means they have a common arm. So both are called adjacent angles. That means adjacent angles, we can say common vertex and common arm. Arm means side of the angle. So these two, if you find, you can say that they are adjacent angles. Another thing is that their other arms will be in opposite directions. Other arms in opposite directions. So you see here these two angles. Firstly, this angle is known as angle AOB. This is angle BOC. Both are called adjacent angles because what are they? Means you see adjacent angles here, angle AOB and angle BOC. What do they have? Common point O, common arm OB. Then opposite arms you have OA and OC. So such angles are called adjacent angles. Wherever you find both angles being formed at a same point, one arm of both angles will be a same line, other arms are in opposite directions, are adjacent angles. Now linear pair of angles. Second point, linear pair of angles. That means when do we call two angles forming a linear pair? When do we call it? So linear pair means when two adjacent angles are constructed in such a way that sum of their measurements is 180 degree. If sum of two adjacent angles you have seen, angles formed at a common point with a common arm, other ways are in opposite directions. Now you'll see two adjacent angles are in such a way that if we add their measurements, sum is 180 degree. That means if you are getting an angle here, suppose this is AB, the point is taken O like this, and have a look at this OC. So two angles here, both angles will sum 180 degree. Why? At any point on a line, angle on one side is always 180 degree. On other side too, on this side 180 degree. That means if you take sum of the angles around a point, will give 180 plus 180, 360 degree. So each half above line, below line, 180 degree each. So whatever the number of angles be here, if you are taking two angles, you add them, sum will come 180. So two such angles, here both angles are adjacent also. Angle AOC and angle BOC are adjacent also because they have a common arm OC and both are formed at the same point O. Their other arms are on opposite side. So if you add both angles, you are getting 180 degree. That means angle AOC plus angle COB gives 180 degree. Therefore, we can say angle AOC and angle COB form a linear pair. So whenever we are taking sum of two angles 180 degree and they have one common arm like that, then we can call that both angles form a linear pair. Okay, third point we have vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles means two such angles whose arms form two pairs of opposite rays. Whose arms form two pairs of opposite rays. That means consider two intersecting lines. One line is this line AB and another line is here, line CD, and they are intersecting each other at point O. Both lines are intersecting each other at point O. So have a look at the angles. How many angles are formed here? This angle, this side, this one, this one. 4 angles around this point O. 4 angles are formed with these two intersecting lines. Now you have to take pair of such two angles whose arms are forming two pairs of opposite rays. You see here, if I take this angle and this lower angle, this upper and this lower, these two angles, have a look at their arms. One arm is going through OA, one is going OD. Here it is OC and here OB. Both angles are opposite to each other, formed at the same point, and their arms are in opposite rays, you see. So in that case, both angles are called vertically opposite angles. And it is a rule that vertically opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite angles are equal to each other. Other two we have, these two angles. These two are also vertically opposite angles. Angle AOC will be equal to angle DOB. So these two pairs of vertically opposite angles will always be equal. That is like a formula that will be used in solving a question. Okay, so these were the 3 types of angles we learned: adjacent angles, linear pairs of angles, vertically opposite angles. Thank you.